I've been in the business almost 20 years, to be honest. And, when you're a kid, you watch a lot of Kung Fu movies. I think you ask any martial artist or anybody who even done a little bit of martial arts, it's always been, I'm sure it's a fantasy, at least once, to be like, oh man, if I could be in a movie with Jackie Chan or get punched in the face, man, that would be great. You have that. I know I just took that a little bit further. I always had that in me. I always thought, for some reason, I thought it was possible, but at the same time, it seemed really far away. Because if you watch those movies, especially when you're a kid, you watch those movies, you see those stuntmen doing, I'm talking about like Hong Kong stuntmen from the 80s and 90s, like, in my opinion, some of the toughest people on earth doing these stunts, like falling from like a 3-story balcony on top of like a vase and then breaking the vase, with no supports, nothing, like crazy stunts, like jumping off a bridge and landing on a car before, like just things that they wouldn't let you do today, They would not let you do today. And I'm like, is it possible for me to be one of these guys, Is it possible? It was always like a pipe dream to me, I didn't think it was possible. But during my Kung Fu training, during the summers, I went back to Hong Kong to train with Wong Shenleung. Wong Shenleung is Bruce Lee's Siheng, or elder Kung Fu brother, the man most responsible for training him, So basically when you go into Kung Fu school, a lot of times the Sifu, the master, just has a lot of students, and the older Kung Fu students teach the rest of the class. So Bruce Lee and my Sifu had a really close relationship, and a lot of Bruce Lee fans know about this. And I would go back every summer to train with him for Wing Chun up until his passing. But during one of my training summers, it was already into my college years. One of my college friends introduced me to people who were making movies that needed extras on the set, and I went on during one of my and I met some people. I remember meeting Daniel Wu, who we're friends with now. Well, I'm friends with now, but back then it was just like, oh look, a movie star. Met a bunch of people, but and I was just an extra, right? But I just thought, it's not so hard. I can do this, So I went back to the States and finished up my degree and everything, and had a big discussion with my parents. And then they're very supportive, which is a big thing, a big part of the decision why I made to go over there. Because you think about it, I got my master's degree, I got a Kung Fu school here, I got a regular job, I got very regular things going on here, and it was a big decision. There's certain decisions you make in life, then once you make it, you made it, I can't go back and end up I can't be a truck driver now, I made that decision, I was a school teacher. I don't know if I can go back to teaching at this point in my life. So you make that decision. But right now, looking back, it's like, okay, well, I made something of myself, thank God, right? But you never know if that's going to happen, So it was a big step. So having my parents' support was a big thing, and I think a big part of that was, they understood that what I really wanted to do, and also they maybe perhaps because I already got a degree, it was like a backup, and my father loves movies. I remember when I was a kid, he would bring me to watch these really inappropriate movies, right, for my age, right? But I thought they were really violent and great, So that like Army of Darkness or the prequels to that, Evil Dead and all that stuff. I'm sure I wasn't supposed to be in the theater, but I got in there, and those things really impacted me. And even today, my biggest fan is my dad. he knows all my movies, or he knows all my news before I know. He's sitting over there actually. But anyway, so that was a big part of the decisions of me going over there. So what happened? So I quit my job. I left my classes, Kung Fu classes, to my senior disciples. I packed up my suitcase and went to Hong Kong. And then I didn't know anybody, but my Siheng, my Kung Fu brother, David Peterson, in Australia, he was like the closest person I had to like Hong Kong cinema, because he met Jackie Chan. He used to write all these articles for like Kung Fu movie magazines. So that was the closest person that I could. So he introduced me to some contacts he had over there. Then one thing led to another, and then but the how I really broke in was, I think I went to my mom is Christian, so she asked me to go to this Christian fellowship of artists in Hong Kong, and she's like, maybe it's a good idea for you to get some spirituality in there, and also maybe you meet some people, right? I went there and I met this guy named Joe Tay. He's a singer, actor in Hong Kong, and long story short, we became good friends. He introduced me to his good buddy Chin Galo, the gentleman I told you about, that the head of that stunt team, and then I joined the stunt team. So, and then soon after that, I met with people in front of the camera that wanted to sign me for work, and I started doing in front of the camera stuff, and one thing led to another, and I'm here today.